Hello, high-level listeners, and welcome back to another business English class here on High-Level Listening. This is part 2 of our series where we show you how to make your basic and kind of direct English a bit more formal, respectful, and clear in an English-speaking workplace. So that means we've got another list of phrases to avoid and some better replacements from simple to highly formal, all to take your English to the next level.
Yes, we do. So welcome back to High Level Listening. This is our YouTube channel where we give you side-by-side British and American English with me, Mark from the UK, and Kat from the US. And yes, like Kat said, this is part 2. If you watched part 1, you might remember we showed you some questions or sentences that would sound quite rude, blunt, or direct at work. And then we offered 3 more formal, more considerate and professional options instead. And we'll be doing the same thing today with 5 new too direct English sentences.
So for these episodes, we do really recommend getting the PDF transcript because then you can see all 3 of the more polite, more formal versions written down in an easy downloadable file that you can take offline and study at your own pace. Join us as a member here on High Level Listening by clicking the link in the description below. So let's get started with our first sentence. This would be if you need a little bit of help at work. Now, a simple, direct sentence might be, help me with this, please. Help me with this, please. Now, from some of our other statements that you've kind of heard, when we start a sentence with the verb, we're saying, you help me, right? Help me with this, please. Even if you're saying please, even if you're saying even if you're asking it as a question, help me with this, please. When we say the sentence like this, it sounds like you need help in an emergency situation, that you need help right now, and it's something that's going to be a big deal. So if we stop what we're doing, come over to help you, and we realize that it's not an emergency situation, it's not something urgent, we're going to feel a little bit confused. And then we're not really going to trust that you know what an emergency situation actually looks like. Okay, so something that would be too direct would be, help me with this, please. Help me with this, please. So let's take it up a notch because we want to be respectful. So let's go ahead and just ask someone a question instead. Can you help me with this? Can you help me with this task? Can you help me with this, please? Immediately by asking it as a question, a yes or no question, you give people the option to help you right now or not. Okay? So can you help me with this, please?
Can you help me with this, please?
Now, let's take it up to the next level just a little bit. Could you? Could you? It's a very simple way to go from can to could. Can is having the ability. Yes, I can. No, I can't. Could you is giving someone more of the possibility of help in the future. That's why it's considered more polite. And if you really want to take it up, just all you have to do is change that little word. Could you help me with this task when you have time? Ah, the ultimate. When you have time. If you have time. This is being very respectful of the other person's time. Yes, we like to get things done quickly, but obviously the person that you need help from is probably working on their own projects, okay? So, could you help me with this task when you have time?
Could you help me with this task when you have time?
All right, our last and most formal statement. We do take some of these pieces and we use them in spoken English, but this would be perfect for an email and any written communication, okay? Would you be able to assist me with this task when your schedule allows? How many times have I read this in an email? Would you be able to assist me? Okay, so we've taken help me to assist me, and we've taken could you help me, and we've changed it to would you be able to? Woo. Would you be able to assist me with this task, with this project? with this issue when your schedule allows. Your schedule would be your calendar, the list of things you have to do during the day, if it allows. That means it's basically like if your calendar or schedule gives you permission, gives you the ability to do it. Would you be able to assist me with this task when your schedule allows?
Would you be able to assist me with this task when your schedule allows? Okay, moving on to the next situation. Imagine you are at work and you have a technical problem, maybe an IT problem, a computer problem. The software that you normally use isn't responding, you can't log in, or something's going wrong and you can't use it like you should. So you have a technical issue. Maybe you have an IT department or an IT assistant who helps you with these problems. You could pick up the phone and say, "Hey, it's not working." That's not good. It's not working. This is too direct, too blunt, and not a very professional way to say it. Again, if you said that to me, I would understand what's going on and I would help you because we're at work, but the first impression of it is not very professional. The impression I get of, "Oh, it's not working," is you gave up. Maybe you didn't try and fix it. You didn't look for a solution. You tried it once. It didn't work. "Oh, it's not working. It's not working, so I can't do any work. I guess I'll just sit here and look at my phone and wait for someone else to fix the problem." It gives quite a lazy impression that you haven't been trying. You haven't been trying to fix it. You haven't been working on a solution. It's not working. So to avoid that impression, a basic but more polite thing you could say instead, "There's a problem with the system I'm working on." Again, you could contact the IT department and say, "Hi, there's a problem with the system I'm working on." So again, rather than "it's not working," be more specific. If you specify the thing that's causing the problem, that is more helpful and therefore a bit more professional. There's a problem with the system. There's a problem with the server. There's a problem with the website. Just be more specific. Give them a few more details. That's helpful. That's just basic courtesy. So there's a problem with the system I'm working on.
Hi, IT. Yeah, there's a problem with the system I'm working on.
So the next level, to be equally clear but more polite, "I've noticed an issue with the system and wanted to bring it up." I've noticed an issue with the system. So the previous sentence was "there's a problem." Sometimes the more formal way to talk about a problem is an issue. An issue. This could just be British English or just office English in general, but we like to make problems smaller and make problems seem less serious or less urgent. We don't want to stress anyone or panic anyone. So problem sounds quite serious. Issue doesn't sound so like threatening. We're not going to lose customers or close the office. Just a small issue, a technical issue. I've noticed an issue with the system. So I've noticed an issue with the system and wanted to bring it up. Bring it up means tell you or suggest it to you.
I've noticed an issue with the system and wanted to bring it up. I also like this one too because it doesn't sound very urgent. Okay, so maybe if there is a problem, but I'm actually not working with that system right now, just to let you know in a way. I've noticed an issue with the system and wanted to bring it up.
Okay, and the last level, the most formal way you can say it, I would probably only write this in an email because we use different vocabulary in emails and written English. I've encountered a technical issue and would appreciate your input on how to resolve it. This is a very, very, very long way to say, help me. I've encountered a technical issue and would appreciate your input on how to resolve it. So again, I've noticed becomes I've encountered an issue, a technical issue, and would appreciate your input. Again, would and could are the most formal versions when we ask for requests or help, or make requests. So I would appreciate your input on how to resolve it. Resolve is the formal word for fix. If I'm like, hey, IT, it's not working, fix it. That's really rude and really direct. So I've encountered a technical issue and would appreciate your input on how to resolve it.
Okay, now there are instances where someone might be asking for your opinion. Okay, you are very good at your job and they are asking you for your input or your suggestions or your opinions. Now, of course, you can be very direct and say something like, okay, you should change this. It's not very good. Ooh, ouch. Okay. Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
Right to the heart.
Yeah. Now, I know Americans do like to be direct, but we don't like to be this direct, okay? So you should change this. It's not very good. It's not very clear. It's not very something, right? This is fine, but the problem that I think that I have with the beginning of the sentence is you. Especially if you're going to be talking to clients or you're going to be talking to coworkers and colleagues that you don't know very well, it's quite common to start using the word we. We're a team here, okay? You're asking me for an opinion, for a suggestion to help you fix something. But in reality, we're still a team. We're all in the same company. We're working towards the same goal. So we often kind of change the sentence around us. We. So if I were to take a basic sentence, I would probably say, we could try a different approach here. Ooh, that immediately lets me know, okay, you're not happy with this. It's not right, but we could try a different approach here. An approach is a different way of doing it, okay? So I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying we could try a different approach here. These two sentences are very, very different. You should change this. It's not very good. Even if you just said you should change this, that feels, again, blaming you. You are the problem. We could try a different approach here. Could, meaning it's possible, right? We could, giving you the option, yes or no. We could try a different approach here.
We could try a different approach here.
Now, this is clear and polite because I'm also suggesting something, maybe because I'm the professional here or this is my area of expertise. I could say, what if we tried adjusting this here? What if we tried adjusting this problem, this issue, this error? What if we tried adjusting this here? So this would be another way to adjust or change. And it's, what if we did this? Now, this is a suggestion. This is an option for you, but you should probably take it. Okay, you should probably take it, right? The beginning one, you should change this. It's not very good. It doesn't give me an option, but these other ones, we could try a different approach. What if we tried adjusting this here? This is just a polite way, but you should do it. You really should. It comes down to it. Even though I'm being extra polite, you really should do it. What if we tried adjusting this issue here?
What if we tried adjusting this issue here?
So another formal way that we might put into a written document or a written email, I was thinking it might be beneficial to explore an alternative process. I think my biggest problem with ultra formal written English is sometimes I look at it and I think, so they like it or they don't like it? right? So we do have to pick this one apart a little bit. I was thinking. Sometimes this is the best way to start a sentence where we are going to tell you something you don't want to hear. Okay. I was thinking it might be beneficial. Might be, could be, can be. Again, giving you that option of, yeah, you don't have to go with what I say, but you should, right? I was thinking it might be beneficial, helpful, might be beneficial to explore an alternative process. To explore something in business usually means to do the opposite of what you did. Okay, let's explore some other options, meaning, I don't like your option. Let's go with the other option. But explore sounds like we're going to find lots new options. I think it's just a really polite way to say that we're not going with your option. Please change it. I was thinking it might be beneficial to explore an alternative process. Alternative. If we have two choices, one is the choice and the alternative is the other choice.
I was thinking it might be beneficial to explore an alternative process. So in a British accent, you're more likely to hear process, an alternative process. Okay, next situation. So you're at work and there's a mistake. There's a problem. Maybe it's your fault. Maybe you made the mistake. Maybe it's someone else's fault. Or there's a mistake. It doesn't matter. But it happens. It's totally normal. You want to apologize for it. A way that would sound very rude, direct, and too blunt would be, it's wrong. It's wrong. It's not correct. It's a mistake. So it's wrong. It's not correct. It's a mistake. I've heard this in the workplace. I've heard this from my students as well. And I know that English isn't their first language. And I know what they mean. But when they say it like that, it's not correct. It's hard for me to not, again, be defensive suddenly. Because when there is a mistake or a problem at work, we really, really want to avoid blaming someone or saying or implying that it's your fault. So if there is a mistake somewhere and they say it's not correct, my instinct is to say, well, are you saying it's my fault? Is it my mistake? Are you blaming me? I didn't do anything wrong. And immediately I'm defending myself. So we're starting the conversation in a bad way. We're starting it aggressively.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Right. The best thing to do culturally in an English-speaking office is to take responsibility for your mistakes. If you do make a mistake, that's okay. You shouldn't get fired for one small mistake. And people actually appreciate your honesty and appreciate you taking responsibility for a mistake. That's the mature thing to do. So something that's more formal is to say, I made a mistake here and I'll fix it. I made a mistake here and I'll fix it. So this is immediately better because I'm taking responsibility. I put my hands up. Okay, I made a mistake here and I'll fix it. And I will fix it. It sounds proactive. You're going to solve it. You're going to help. That's also appreciated. So again, if you want to point blame anywhere, point at it yourself. That is the responsible thing to do. If you're in a British office, people might start arguing about, oh, no, it's my fault. Oh, no, I made a mistake. Oh, no, I made a mistake. People might even start confessing to all kinds of things. So this is the right way to start it. I made a mistake here and I'll fix it.
I know sometimes in a lot of different languages, it might not be common to use I, right? So it's a mistake, or, oh, it's wrong. That's wrong. That's a mistake. That's not correct. It's not correct. But if it is your mistake, go ahead and, like Mark said, be responsible for it. I made a mistake here and I'll fix it.
So the next level, to be clear and a bit more polite, I realize there was an error on my part and I'm working to correct it.
Ooh,
I
that's a good one.
realized there was an error. So previously I made a mistake. There was an error on my part. Error, that's ERROR in a British accent, an error on my part. So that means a mistake, and it's on my part. I made the mistake. Again, in the workplace, we might use slightly more formal vocabulary. So I realized there was an error on my part. In the previous one, I will fix it. This one, I'm working to correct it.
Now, we talked earlier that if someone else makes the mistake, we say we made the mistake. But I think it is still more common, especially if you are a group leader, a manager, or the boss, that I would take the responsibility because I'm the final say, right? So even if it's my team member, even if it's someone on my team or below me, I realized there was an error on my part and I'm working to correct it.
Okay, and the final level, the most formal one, if you're writing an email, you could say, we'd like to apologize for the error. We're working on correcting the issue as soon as possible. So Kat's mentioned this before, that sometimes the most formal way is to not use I or you at all. We are the team, we are the company. So when you're writing an email to a customer or to a client, anytime that you represent the business, then we'd like to apologize for the error. We would. So not only me, but the whole team. So there's a sharing of the responsibility everywhere. And again, this puts a more formal front, a more formal impression. The whole company is one. We'd like to apologize for the error. We're working on correcting the issue as soon as possible. Write that out in 4 words. As soon as possible. ASAP is not that formal. Write the full phrase. As soon as possible.
Very interesting. Yeah, good point, Mark. So we'd like to apologize for the error. We're working on correcting the issue as soon as possible. This sounds like the most formal statement that if a company is doing construction, if there's an issue or a problem, we'd like to apologize for the error. Not our error, not his error, but the error, the problem, the issue. We'd like to apologize for that. We're working on correcting the issue, whose ever issue that is, as soon as possible.
That's a good
All
point.
right,
Yeah, the delay,
it is.
the problem, the
The
error.
delay,
Yeah.
the problem, the error. I mean, we don't know who did that, but we apologize for it anyway. So, our last one, we're going to be talking about a deadline. Now, a deadline is the time or the date when you need to be finished with your work. Your finished product needs to be done. Okay. We have to have it by this date. So, a simple question that you might want to ask is, when do I finish this? When do I finish this? Now, that seems like a very, very good question. But if someone said, when do I finish this? This kind of sounds like, okay, so I'm not going to work on this for a while. Can you tell me when you need it? Because I just won't work on it until then.
Right. Yeah.
So it does. We've had some sentences that kind of immediately make you sound a little bit lazy. When do I finish this? Well, I mean, you should start working on it now, and then the deadline is this day. But I would immediately think, why? Do you want to just not work on it for now? Or do you have other important things you need to be doing? What do you mean, when do I finish this? Just start working on it, and then we'll get to it. Now, a bit more basic, but a bit more professional for sure would be, what's the deadline for this project? Okay, what's the deadline for this project? Now, the deadline, the project completion time. What's the deadline for this project?
What's the deadline for this project? Again, you can see here that we're removing the word I. So when do I finish?
Point.
Sounds like I only care about me. But what's
Yeah,
the
that's
deadline?
it, isn't it?
right?
Mm.
It's more focused on the work, the project, and I sound more like a team member, or I'm focused on the work, and that's the more important thing.
Okay, so our next phrase, we are going to add a little bit more politeness into this. So, our basic phrase, what's the deadline for this project? When is the deadline for this project? This is a typical question. But now we're going to add, could you tell me? Okay, so we're going to add a little bit of extra, but this is our sentence. Could you tell me this? Could you tell me that? This is our question. So when we add a second part to this question, we can only have one question in a sentence. So could you tell me? That's our question. So we're going to change the second part to a sentence. When the deadline for this project is. Could you tell me when the deadline for this project is? So we're not going to ask, could you tell me what's the deadline? Could you tell me when's the deadline? No, because that's two questions in one, and we can't have that. So we're going to ask the question at the beginning, could you tell me? And keep going with the question word, the subject, and the verb. Could you tell me when the deadline for this project is? Could you tell me when the deadline for this project is?
Could you tell me when the deadline for this project is? It's a common mistake among students to forget to put the is at the end. I hear a lot. Could you tell me when is the deadline? Not when is, but when the deadline is. Like, could you tell me where the train station is? Could you tell me what his name is? Just remember to kick the is to the end.
And our final formal one, could you confirm the deadline for the completion of this project? Could you confirm the deadline for the completion of this project? Confirm is to tell me yes or no. It's like double check, right? Could you confirm the deadline, the date we need to complete the project? Could you confirm the deadline for the completion of this project?
Could you confirm the deadline for the completion of this project? All right, there you go. Lots more useful questions, phrases, and expressions to help you become more naturally spoken at work and feel more confident that you're getting your point across, but you're still doing it in a way that is respectful and thoughtful and professional all at the same time. So please let us know in the comments, what was your favorite phrase or question from today? Do you use any of these questions in your own work, or are you guilty of using any of the two direct ones? Now you have some better alternatives to use. Let us know. We do read and reply to all the comments that we get on YouTube.
Big thank you to all of our members here on YouTube and all of our subscribers as well. We are so happy to have all of you as students. If you want to become a member and get our PDF transcripts of all of our episodes, make sure to become a member here on YouTube. You will be able to go to our membership area and look at all of our community posts just for members only. So don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss a new video. We upload at least 2 new videos here every week. We'll see you next time on High Level Listening.